Welcome to the Bomb Squad team call for Tuesday, October 8th. It's a special call. I only let them know we were having it 30 minutes ago. And look at all these people. We have people tuning in from all around the country. So we are recording this one. We always start on our calls with an excerpt from Jesus Calling, written by Sarah Young. I didn't read this beforehand, so we'll see what it's about. October 8th. I love you with an everlasting love. The human mind cannot comprehend my constancy. Your emotions flicker and falter in the face of varying circumstances, and you tend to project your fickle feelings onto me. Thus, you do not benefit fully from my unfailing love. That's pretty good. Your emotions flicker and falter in the face of varying circumstances. That's for sure. Okay, next paragraph. You need to look beyond the flux of circumstances and discover me gazing lovingly back at you. This awareness of my presence strengthens you as you receive and respond to my love. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let my love flow into you continually. Your need for me as a constant as the outflow of my love to you. Oh, your need for me is as constant as the outflow of my love to you. That's from Jeremiah 31:3, Exodus 15:13, and Hebrews 13:8. All right. It makes me feel good every time I read it. It's usually pretty applicable to what we do. I'm going to just fly today. I'm ready. I didn't have any Energize either. I'm ready to roll though. We have some announcements. Super weekend's coming up. Betty out there in California, right, Betty? Betty's rocking her Energize right there. But
I am. It's the only thing that gets me through the night.
It's 5:15 p.m. in California. Out here, out in these streets, it's already 8:15 p.m. So no,
That's bedtime.
we have Super Weekend coming up in Pittsburgh. It's a pretty big deal. You think it's a big deal because Jericho's coming. But it's a really big deal because we're going to Brandy's house for brunch on Sunday. So we have Friday night, a bunch of millionaires, a bunch of people who earned over $1 million are coming to Pittsburgh to speak to us. On Saturday, Jericho's coming to lead the workout, and we have trainings and recognition, of course. So tickets are available for that if you're in Pittsburgh. And Brandy was so kind enough to come up with this brilliant idea all by herself to host a brunch. So some of us will be there on Sunday. If any of you Pacific Oceaners want to fly in, we can figure out a place for you to stay. A group of us are staying at the Omni in downtown Pittsburgh on Friday night, and then we're probably all staying at our own houses on Saturday, and then meeting up for brunch early at Brandy's house, which is in the North Hills of Pittsburgh, for those of you who are local enough to do that. Okay. Also, if you're close by, there's a Power 2-hour class this coming Saturday, but that's non-Beachbody event. But shout out to my coach Cam, who hosts those once a month, and they're like our favorite thing to do in the world. So if you can get to that, come join us. That would be on whatever the Saturday is, 12th maybe. Big events that are coming up. Platinum Edge in Dallas. Do you girls from the Pacific know if that's still on? Anybody have any idea?
I've gotten a notice about it because I went not last year, but the year before the last year they had it. So I got a notice, but it was, gosh, I want to say it was 2 months ago. I haven't seen anything since then.
Brandy and I were researching a little bit the other day for this call to see, and we didn't get very far. So we couldn't tell if we could even register. We wanted to get some info for you guys on this call. So it's called, I think the website is The Platinum Edge. But if anyone wants to look into that, I would love to go to it again. I was also there when Betty was there. We didn't even know each other, and we were at the same conference. And I got a lot out of that. Liz and I flew in. It was 2 years ago when we were there. Okay, Summit is in New Orleans. That's going to be a lot of fun. Anyone remember if it's June or July? It's one of those two.
I think it's July.
Website is coachsummit.com if anyone wants to look at that. Morning Meltdown just hit the library, so that's included. You don't have to pay for VIP access for that anymore. So all of you that are watching this replay and you have Beachbody On Demand, if you haven't checked out Morning Meltdown, get in there. We have lots of people who just started. Brandy's girls just started this week. Brand new, like day one people just started yesterday, the day before. Oh, wait.
Summit is definitely in July.
Summit is July, Brandy says. Okay. New program, The Work, is coming out. A bunch of us just got access to that, VIP access. We all have coupon codes, full promo codes, where if you bundle that, you can get the whole VIP deal and maybe even an awesome shaker cup. Is your shaker cup handy? Yes. Yes, you. Okay. Brandy just got her bundle in the mail today and she was showing off. So it looks like we got new shaker cups that have a handle on them. Those are good for people who drop things. Nobody on this call. I was at Brandy's house for brunch. I shouldn't even tell anybody. I think 2 Sundays ago with her and her husband and her 2 kids, I watched her drop like 14 things within 1 hour. It was amazing to me. So
Nothing broke.
that's correct.
I caught most of it. I'm on the website for the Platinum Edge, and it still just says like hook me up.
Okay.
There's no, you just plug in your email, and it's so far scheduled for next year in February, but that's it.
Gotcha.
But Dallas, Texas, February 21st through the 23rd.
Okay, good. And a couple of the last other lingering announcements. I challenged anyone who was on last week to get a Zoom account of their own, free account. I challenged them to create an event in our team page and Bomb Squad under their events. And I challenged them to invite me to their Zoom. And Coach Liz is the first person to do it. So shout out to Coach Liz. I think she's listening or watching from behind her screen. So good job, Liz. We had an awesome chat with her, and a bunch of people jumped on. I think Sherry was on there and some other people. So we had a really good talk earlier today. So again, if you're watching the replay, I challenge you. I mean, you don't want to log on and listen to me blab all the time. Do your own Zooms. Figure out who you vibe with, and get them on a Zoom. Get everybody on a Zoom. And the bigger team. Sherry shared this with us earlier, and Sherry, if you can unmute, if you think you can talk, I see you got a lot of action going on there. In the PNW, that stands for Pacific Northwest for you guys. Sherry, can you remind us the 2 times of the hustle hours or power hours that you invited us to earlier today?
Yeah, so there are 2 power hours going on right now that Holly hired everybody to, and they're hosted by, I think, Jamie Shepard is the one who's running them. And they are every day, at least this week. It might continue next week. I'm not positive on that. But for the rest of this week, it's at least at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. And then it's going to be 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, so 9:30 Eastern.
Okay, so for East Coast.
And it'll go for an hour.
2 p.m. for East Coasters and 9:30 p.m. for East Coasters. That for the West Coasters is 11 and 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
All right. And what that is people get on and actually work, make posts. There's a timer set, all kind of fun stuff. The only way you're going to know what that is if you jump on. So Sherry or Betty or Heather, are those things posted in Fit Finances? Do you know? We'll get that info to you guys in Bomb Squad. And if you're not in Team Fit Finances yet, we gotta get you over there too. Okay, moving right along. We have been reading some personal development, and we're gonna get into that. I thought there was one other thing on this list that I wanted to tell you. Oh, collagen. I just got my collagen and Energize and Shakeology shipment today. I'm super excited. And that was working for me. I did 1 month of Beachbody collagen and saw some results. I didn't believe in it, to be honest with you, but I was like, you know what? I'll be the guinea pig before I tell anyone else to get it. So I like it. All right, I'm going to screen share. This is a file that is in our team page. And I'll show you guys just for the replay. Can you guys see my computer desktop now? Yes, no, thumbs up if you can see my desktop. Okay, thanks, Brandy. All right. Okay, over here. Oh, before I forget, if anybody's looking for someone to design logos, let me show you something. This is what Brandy just made in like the last 5 minutes. Isn't this cool? She just made all these. That's her husband, Clint, over there. Everyone wave to Clint. I don't know if you guys can see him or if you only can see my, can you guys see each other anymore? Here, wait, let's stop share. We got all kinds of stuff going on. Stop share. All right.
Yeah, we can see each other if it's up to us.
Okay.
We can tile it on the right.
Okay, that's Clint over there if you couldn't see him on the replay. I don't know what you can see when we record or whatever. Okay, back to screen share. So Brandy here is really good at graphic design. So she just worked these up just for fun, like a little bit ago. There's that one. I like all of them. There's this one. This one, the flame kind of reminds me of like the coaching tree a little bit in some weird way. So I kind of like that one. That one with the flame smaller. We were thinking about maybe patches on jackets. She's got me thinking about ordering notepads. She's like, these would be good on a notepad. I'm like, a notepad? Who even thought of a notepad? Shaker cups. Okay, that isn't what I was really going to show you though. I got distracted. Brandy, I love them. Thank you for working on them. How do we get this off of here? Back. Okay, so to get in my team page, I go to Bomb Squad, and then over here, there's a file section. In the file section, for those of you who are in this page, go to the very bottom of the files, and there's like one more that's too, it's like more than what one screen will fit. This is called the 45-second presentation or the napkin presentations. So I already have it open and I'm already on the correct page, so I don't have to search this time. So we are now on chapter 10, and this is page 53 about motivation and attitude. Now, I haven't read this one yet. I read a little bit ahead. Of course, you got to remember here, people, this is chapter 10. So it's referring back to things we read the last 6 weeks on our team calls. So if you haven't read this yet, open the file. The pages are small. So yeah, we're on page 53, but look, a page is only that big. So it doesn't take very long to get through these. And these are meant to be presentations you can do in a restaurant on a napkin. And I have done a lot of these little presentations over and over and over. And the majority of people who I personally sponsored are based on what is taught here. Motivation and attitude. One of the most important of the napkin presentations is the one on motivation. This will give you an excellent understanding of what motivates people. You will learn how to work with your people to motivate them, like a match. Start out by writing the word motivation at the top of your napkin or board. You next draw 2 arrows, one pointing down, and the other pointing up. Point out there are 2 kinds of motivation, down motivation and up motivation. Label the arrows down. That is what we call hot bath. But up motivation is constant. Let me explain. Most of you probably have been to rah-rah motivational rallies and found yourself gung-ho to get with it and get going again with the program you're in. A good example of that is Super Saturday, Super Weekend. You go to the motivational rally, you find yourself all gung-ho to get with it and get going again with the program you're in. You usually find that you've cooled off again in a couple of weeks or months. When you take a hot bath, it seems that the hotter the bath, the quicker you can cool off. I've seen people go to motivational rallies that last up to 3 days. Then 2 weeks after they get home, they're totally depressed. Why? For 3 days, they're all hyped up, really motivated, but then nobody told them what to do and or how to do it. That's why they get down. Even reading this book is a hot bath. I'll get to up motivation in a little bit. So all of these little things, going to seminars, getting on calls, getting together with your sponsor, reading a book, moving some product, obtaining more knowledge, these are forms of hot bath or down motivation. That's not to say they're bad, they're actually necessary. Before we talk about up motivation, we want to talk about attitude. Imagine that you are going to talk to someone about your business, and that person doesn't know anything about it. So they have an attitude level of 0. Let's say for you to be effective in talking to them about the business, you need an attitude level of 50 degrees. If your attitude level is short of 50, don't even talk to anybody because they're going to drag you down. Okay, so what this book is saying is you have to be effective, you have to at least be at 50 degrees on this little example. If you're not there, you go and try and talk to someone and they're a bad attitude person, they're going to drag you down. The person you want to sponsor came to your presentation. They've signed the application. They want to get started, and boy, are they excited about the business. They're all the way up to a 65 degrees, and they're going to get rich. Before they've had a chance to learn anything, they go out and start talking to people. Since they really don't know how to handle themselves when confronted by negative skeptics, they get negative themselves. Even from well-meaning relatives and friends who may have been disillusioned by getting signed up by someone before who just wanted to get rich off of them, rather than by someone who was willing or able to help them build a business. A real, actual sponsor with a commitment to helping others ahead of helping himself or herself. What will happen is they'll drop below the 50-degree level. You get back together with them, you answer their objections and their questions they may have, and they'll go all the way back up, maybe to 70 degrees. Now this time they'll stay up a little bit longer before they go down below 50 again in their attitude level. The question, how would you like to have an attitude level about 50 degrees all the time? In other words, you aren't up and down like a yo-yo, but you want to be constant. The only way we know of that you can do that is with up motivation. Up motivation is constant, opposite of the hot bath. Here's up motivation. You have a sponsor. Your sponsor will help you to sponsor for you. You have a sponsor. Your sponsor will help to sponsor people for you. Now, again, you may be like, what are you talking about? Remember, you got to read the first 52 pages, people. We start with 5. Notice that when you sponsor 5 people, you have 25 degrees. Again, a mistake to avoid sponsoring more than you can effectively work with, adding 5 degrees at a time and losing them just as fast. So if you can see the little thing here, you're here. These are all like your personally sponsored people. They're all at like 5 degrees. The sponsor's going to help you. All right. Your sponsor helped you sponsor these 5 people. You in turn will help those 5 people to sponsor others for their 5 degrees. Their 5 degrees is 10 degrees for you. That's a little confusing. This chapter is a little confusing, I'll admit it. Hopefully you don't worry too much about the little details and you get the big concept here. And the big concept is the motivation can come from above or below. So, all right. So now you got all these 10 degrees. They're 5 degrees, 10 degrees for you. All your second level people are worth 10 degrees each for you. Notice, if you only helped one of the 5 people sponsor 5 others, that would put you above 50 degrees. So this is you, your sponsor helped you, and instead of getting all of these people to get 5 people, if only one of those people actually sponsored 5 people, everybody would be pretty happy. I think that's the best way I can say that. Okay. Notice what happens when you teach sponsoring down another level though, okay? The 3rd level is 20 degrees. The 4th is 40 degrees. The deeper you go, the hotter it gets. The only way you can appreciate this phenomenon is when it's first happening, and that's why you want it to happen to your people as soon as it possibly can happen for them. Once they experience this, they will get excited. The key to network marketing and multi-level is this depth. Because if everybody has people under them working, then they're super motivated. If you had people working under you, you would never really need a rah-rah speech. That would be good enough. And that's right now what's going on with me personally. And that's not always been the case. Okay. Like, I'm motivated to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and work out with these fools. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. The only way you can appreciate this is when it's first, okay, I already read that. Once they experience this, they will get excited. Here's an example. Carol sponsors Tom, Tom sponsors Bill. Okay. Carol gets a phone call and finds out that Bill went out last week. Okay, so Carol's up here. Carol's going to get a phone call and finds out that Bill went out last week and sponsored 5 serious people. He's going to really run with it. What happens is that excites everybody right up the whole line. Note the arrow's going up. That's why we call it up motivation. So this Bill dude at the bottom of the tree signs anybody up and the whole tree benefits. That's exciting. You know, that's exciting for Holly way up there and Christine Dwyer way up there. And in my personal situation, Cam above me, you know what I mean? And whoever your sponsor or anyone above them is. You need to help people you sponsored support their people. Let me show you an exception to that. Okay, this is what not to do. When you sponsor someone into the business, they are a silver ship. Everyone comes in as a silver. They're excited, but they haven't gotten serious. Everybody has at least one friend. Get together with your people, help them to sponsor their friend. They'll come in as silver ships. Support your people as they help their friends to sponsor more friends downline, 3 or more deep even. All of a sudden, downline, there's somewhere, you'll find someone who turns out to be a gold ship, somewhere in that downline. Here's what you do. Go down there and work with the gold. The first real gold you have in that line. Then what will happen is, in the process of helping the gold, the silvers will then be converted to gold. Because the silvers are motivated by that gold down there. That's how you convert the silvers. You get someone under them. If that person under them really goes crazy and they're gold, the silver that sponsors them will say, hey, I better get my act together. There isn't anything that will motivate people more than to have someone under them doing something. It's been said, you can motivate people faster and more effectively by putting a candle under their sitting place than by putting a blowtorch to their thinking place. One more time. You can motivate people faster and more effectively by putting a candle under their sitting place than by putting a blowtorch to their thinking place. Light a fire under their ass. To wrap this up, it's okay because I read Jesus Calling before the call. It's like I'm protected for the whole 40 minutes. To wrap this up, the one thing you don't want to do is to develop a dependency to you on the part of your people, the ones that you sponsored. They cannot be dependent on you forever. Otherwise, it's not going to work. There's got to be a point where they don't need you. And this has happened with several of my people, which is awesome. We say that this point is when your people can teach. This is the trick here. That happens when your people can teach their people to teach all 10 of these napkin presentations. That's when they know everything they know to build their organization. That's when you can go find another serious person to replace them and let them do this with their organization. So over here you got the sun, a pot, looks like water in the pot. Let's see what this is about. Suppose for this example, you sponsored Sue. You would say, hey, Sue, let's say you are the sun. The sun has more energy than anything we know of. It is kind of an indirect compliment. You continue by saying the person you sponsor, this is to Sue, is like a pan of water. Note, you sponsored Sue, but don't assume the role of the sun and call her the pan of water. It's not that flattering. All right, so you sponsor somebody, they're the sun, they're sponsoring someone, that's the pot of water. In your group, there's a sun. In every group, there's a sun. At what point would the water boil? If you took a pan of water and set it out in the middle of the hottest desert on the hottest day of the year, it still would never boil. It will take 212 degrees for the water to begin to boil. Which reminds me, this is very good. Can you guys see that? Or you're all reading? There's a book called 212 Degrees, and on the back it says, at 211 degrees, water is hot. At 212 degrees, it boils. With boiling water comes steam. Steam can power a locomotive. Okay, back to this. In your group, there's a sun. At what point would the water boil? If you took a pan of water and set it out in the middle of the hottest desert on the hottest day of the year, it still would not boil. It would take 212 degrees for the water to begin to boil. It won't boil at 210 or 211. It has to be 212. Notice, if your attitude is at 212 and only needs to be at 50 to be effective, you could talk to anybody at any time about what you're doing. So that's the direction your attitude is heading. We just told you the sun can't make the water boil. Your sponsor can't make the water boil either. None of the hot bath motivation can make that water boil. I don't care if all of the top people in all of the multi-level companies in the world came to town for a rally and you went to all of them, your water will never boil if the motivation's coming from above. They can get your attitude above 50, above the 50 degree effective level, but it's up to you to get the water boiling. And remember, your sponsor will help you. So this is what we got to do. Got to light a fire under their ass. In other words, you know some people that your sponsor doesn't know. Your sponsor will go with you and help you to sponsor someone. Once you sponsored someone, you started the burner under the pan. With 5 people sponsored, you now have the pan sitting on 5 jets of the burner. The maximum number the pan can effectively cover. Notice, the water isn't boiling yet. It's only 25 degrees if there's 5 people and they haven't sponsored anybody yet. But if any 3 run off a string 3 deep, or any 2 run off a string 4 deep, work deep down the tree, people. Or if anyone works where's the 10-minute warning? Anyone gets a string 5 deep, the water starts to boil. Any combination that adds up to 212 under the pan is going to get that water to boil. At the time the water is boiling, iPad here, Brandy's blowing us up. I'm a boy, can't multitask. Any combination adds up to 212 under the pan will get the water to boil. At the time the water is boiling, the sun sponsor can go away, the water will boil. Once you've shown a person this, you call them on the phone, they realize you're calling because you want to help them. You are not calling to give them a blowtorch to the head, but rather to see if you can light another burner or turn the temperature up on those who are already lit. What a good word, lit. You want to help them to get their water to boil. The further you go down the group, the hotter the burner gets. In all the programs, once you have a person with their water boiling, it may look similar to the example on the left. This is what's happening. This is what's happening under Holly Hireman. This is what's happening under people who were in this years before we were. You know what I mean? They're not quitting. You guys think Holly Hireman's ready to quit Beachbody? No. All of these people down here are keeping a fire under her ass. She doesn't even need 2 arms to be able to make money on this because we're all working. So the idea is that all this stuff going on under the pot, you know what I mean? And that's what we're going to do for all of you, all of us together. We're going to work. Everyone's going to do a little bit. Everyone's going to be a little tiny candle. One little candle's not going to make the pot burn anywhere. We're all going to do it together. All right. Notice that you have others sponsored as well. The first one to boil is not necessarily the first one you sponsored. It is the first one that got serious and got the depth in their organization to get and keep it going. When the water boils there, you can continue working with 5 serious people. Notice that the pan can sit on only 5 burners at a time. This kind of goes along with the first presentation in chapter 2. If you have 15 people sponsored, these are people you directly sponsored, you can really work effectively, but with 5 at a time. You may have to sponsor 10 to 20 to find 5 serious people. What happens with the others? We put them on the back burner for now, so to speak. So if you ever have the problem where you have too many people to work with, what a problem to have. So when you have the water boiling on 1 or more of the 5, before you go out to search for someone brand new to sponsor, take a trip around the back burner, let them know what's going on. You may find, because timing and circumstance, the time you sponsor them, they weren't really ready to get serious about the business, but they're ready now. Maybe they were just waiting to see how it was really going to work for you or someone else. So don't forget to take a trip every now and then around the back burner. All right, so I can keep going on to the Pentagon of Growth. How exciting. Or we can chat for a couple minutes. Anybody have anything? We have 6 minutes left. I'm going to keep rolling. I'm going to keep rolling. Whew. This is called the Pentagon of Growth. And now we are on page 61. See, we already did like 8 pages that fast. Hi, Priya girl. Hi, Priya. All right, here we go. 5 has been the magic number throughout this book. So it's only appropriate that this final presentation, guys, moving on to a different part of the book. This final presentation is a 5-sided fun trip of a mathematical exercise, which also tends toward being a self-motivator every time you show it to someone. The Pentagon of Growth lays out, you guys should draw a pentagon while I'm talking. This Pentagon of Growth lays out an important view of how fast your organization can grow if you adopt the principles which we've outlined earlier in this book. You start by drawing a pentagon and writing your name in the middle of it. First month, you training. We'll allow you a training month, and we use increments of 2 months as we develop the growth of our organization. So like Sherry over here, last month was her first month. She's already Emerald, already 1 month into Success Starter for her free ticket to Summit. Congratulations, shout out to Sherry, PNW, Pacific Northwest in Vantucky, Washington. Look how much I'm learning about her, all in one day today. All right, start by drawing a pentagon, drawing you in the middle of it for training month. Okay, you can use whatever timeline you wish. You come into the business, and in 2 months, you've sponsored 5 people who really want to get a handle on life. Write 2M5 by one side of the pentagon. I hope you can see that, but I'm assuming that means second month, 5 people. As shown in the figure for 2 months. Oh no, that's the 4-month figure. You guys got it. So just one side of your pentagon, 2 month, 5. In 2 more months, at the end of 4 months, the 5 from the second month, having been taught to do what you're doing, give you 25 second level distributors. So as we move out the pentagon, you have a 4M25 because we taught those 5 how to do the same thing with 5. At the same time, you've developed 5 more serious first level people on a different leg of your pentagon, different side of your pentagon. Now it's looking like the one above. After 6 months, you have 125 people. New original 5, 25 second level. You develop the third set of 5. Zoom in over here. So it says 2M5, 4M25, 6M125. So First one is 2M5, then 4 months, 25, and 6 months, 125. The end of 8th month, your pentagon might look like this over here. So we just keep adding to the sides of the pentagon. This point, hand this napkin over to your student, give them the pen, have them complete the diagram. So again, these are designed for you to teach someone at a restaurant on a napkin. And the ones that are earlier in this are much simpler and I think much more effective. All right, 10 months, figure too large to identify with as it's over 3,000 people, 3125 to be exact. Example left is what they should now have. Go around the pentagon one more time, extend it to a year. 1 year, $72,000 per year. To really put emphasis on how building in depth can make your organization grow rapidly, cross out all the groups except the one under your original 5. Point out to the person you are showing this to, they all built, if they only built one group and they didn't do any of the ones crossed out, they'd be making $6,000 per month, which is $72,000 per year or more depending on the vehicle that they're using. The main purpose of this exercise is simply show the importance of working down group with the people that you sponsor and teach them to do the same. Now go do it, people. All right, so we got through page 64 and we will do this next time, chapter 12, going back to school. But just to give you a little teaser, we have less than a minute left. Your attitude can make a big difference when you're trying to sponsor a new distributor. Most distributors have the attitude, who can I get into the business? I think the proper attitude might be, to whom will I next offer the opportunity to retire? If you believe a person could retire in 1 to 3 years and you understand how to present this possibility in a presentation that takes only 2 minutes, why would you want to give this opportunity to a stranger? All right, so that's all I got for now. I'm stopping the share. Thank you guys for joining. Sorry we don't have time to chit chat or sing the shower song. Priya, can we sing the shower song real fast? Go ahead, unmute mommy first.
Ready, set, go. Go ahead. Shampoo.
Before number 2, scrub your body.
Don't skip. That's naughty.
Additional
For the finisher.
That wasn't even it, Priya.
Yeah.
It goes like this, guys. Shower, Irish Spring, done. That's the real shower song, guys. Who uses conditioner and shampoo? That's weird. All right, on that note, we'll see you all in the thread. We'll see you all super weekend, and we'll see you on the Facebook Live video workout tomorrow. Who's up for 3:30 a.m. Eastern? Randy?